Hey, what's up, and welcome to another edition of the RebelSociety.com mixtape review. I'm your host, Random. We're going to get into a couple mixtape todays from some heavy hitters that just came out a couple weeks ago. First, we're going to lead off with the homie ASAP Rocky. He just released the mixtape LoveLiveAsap, consists of 16 tracks. Getting into some of my favorite tracks off it was Palace, Houston Old Head, Acid Drip. Listening to the mixtape, I guess he's from New York. I couldn't really tell. He had a whole bunch of different sounds, and one of the songs even said something like, you know, I'm from the East Coast, but I ain't trying to sound like I'm from Texas or down south. But he sounded like he was from the East Coast, down south, and from California. I couldn't tell where the dude was from. Overall, on a scale of 10 stars, I'm gonna give the project 4 out of 10. Basically because after the Palace song, like, it really let me down. There's some good production on the joint, like real good production, but he sounds like Wiz Khalifa, Tyler the Creator. He doesn't have his own unique original sound. So, but that's my personal opinion. If y'all want to go download it, go ahead. But I gave it 4 out of 10 stars. Next up is the homie Chainz with Tru Realigion. I don't have any favorite tracks off of this, actually. I tried to find it. I tried to pull a favorite track out of this. He had a lot of guest appearances from some people I like. He had the homie TIP on it. He had Young Jeezy. He had Meek Mill, Krayshawn, and Big Sean. He had like a monster lineup on the mixtape. And surprisingly, out of the 19 tracks, I could not find one I liked. I gave it 0 out of 10 stars. I can't support that garbage. It's trash. Like, for an artist to have that many great guest appearances, like from big names, and not do anything with it, just like kind of peed me off. So that's 2 Chainz. I'm gonna tell you not to go download it. That's my personal opinion. Don't even go bother with it. Like, leave the Tru Realigion alone. Like, leave it alone. Next, we got the homie B.Holy from Newport News, Virginia. Listen to his new mixtape, Open Heart Surgery 2. It's got about 11 tracks on the mixtape. Some of my favorite tracks were Flyer and Willie Beeman. He had some real dope industry beats. Every beat he chose was like dope industry beats, but it was like beats that everybody and their mom don't use. Like, I would have rather hear some original production, a couple original production tracks. I know it was a mixtape, and maybe some industry beats that, like, the average ear hasn't heard. I like hearing mixtapes or samples from like stuff I've never heard of, and I like looking in to the CD and seeing who sampled what. And I knew every sample, and I was just like, It was a good message. Every song he had a good message. He had a good word in all his songs. Personally, on a scale of 10, I give it like 5 out of 10 stars. I would have gave it a higher rating, but because of all the heavy industry beats, his message really got lost to me. And I think a lot of people, the average listener, is gonna get lost in the beats, and they're gonna be like, oh man, like, I'm not even hearing what this guy's talking about. But I mean, his wordage was good. It's just too heavy on the industry beats. I would have laid off not so many of those. Next up, we got the homie Freddie Gibbs, Cold Day in Hell. Had 16 tracks. Some of my favorites off of that was 187 Proof, Twos and Fuse, and Band. He had some guest appearances from Young Jeezy, Juicy J, and Don Kennedy. Out of 10 stars, I'll give it a 7. It's a real solid project. I think I'll give it another spin, give it another listen if I had to. Also, we got Jim Jones, Capo Status. This is the first time I've listened to one of his mixtapes. I brought like an album or so back in the past, but the mixtape was The Vampire Life We Own Tonight. Before I start with this, the title is Vampire Life We Own Tonight, but he had a lot of Batman stuff in there, like Batman skits. I don't know how you call your stuff Vampire Life, but you got Batman skits. But, you know, Jim Jones is saying whatever. Riding on Empty, Kill or Be Killed, and I'll Be Back are some of my favorite ones. Altogether, he had 24 tracks. That was a lot. He should have toned that back a little bit. I guess he ain't put something out in a while, so I guess that's why I was so heavy on the tracks. He had Yo Gotti, J.R. Ryder, Meek Mill, Jada Kiss, and a couple other names on the junk with him too. All right. What's next? All right, next we got Stretch Dollaz out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. We got his mixtape Dollaz Makes Sense. Got 18 tracks up there. Some of my favorite were Hip Hop, Wisdom, Rolling Papers, and Pain. Personally, on 10 stars, I give it 6 out of 10. The reason being is I thought that there was too many tracks for a mixtape, 18 tracks. I would have liked to seen less, maybe 9 or 10. And some of the better music, the best music was at the end of the mixtape. So I feel like the average listener, you would have probably lost them at the beginning of it. But it's 6 out of 10. Again, that's my personal opinion on all these mixtapes. If you want to check out Stretch Dollaz, I suggest it. Last but not least is the homie Kid Cudi with Rap Hard. Now, Rap Hard is, I believe, an album he did, but just never released it. So, of course, he released it, so I had to listen. I'm a big Kid Cudi fan. It's 12 tracks in total. Some of my favorites were Pimpin', Party All the Time, and Spontaneous Combust. Out of the 12 tracks, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 stars because I've heard better from Kid Cudi. And like I said, I think this is one of his early works. So I could see how he grew. It was almost like a prequel, like a movie. So this is what Kid Cudi's thing was. And that's the RebelSociety.com mixtape review of Random. Thank you for tuning in.